For Freedom Founders, how does Freedom Founders actually work? What's the entry look like? As I said, I'm going to put that on the back end. There's no sales at all here tonight, but I'm happy to give you frameworks about that. Who we help, how we do it, how we're different from other communities that I guess purport to help their clients, members, investors with alternatives. Another question is, we're in our 60s and our situation looks fine, but what are the wisest steps going forward to preserve our capital, yet continue to earn without having to spend a lot of admin time? Oh, yeah, who wants to be out there, boots on the ground, when you've spent your whole career in a profession, a business, a practice, and you want to go on and take on landlording at this point? Probably wouldn't be my objective either. Another question, it's kind of like the 401, the IRA question. All my money is in a 401k. I've heard I'll take a big hit with taxes if I pull this money out to invest in real estate. I've got the answer for you there. I'm not sure who that was from, but that's another good question. Those are a few of the questions we've gotten tonight. So again, I'm going to tackle those and any others. So if you've got some questions that come up during this, type them in, because at the end, we'll curate those out as well. And I'll stay on as long as people want me to answer questions. Well, not forever, but I'll stay a good while and pick up questions. This is what I love to do. I love engagement with people. I've given plenty of talks and presentations and PowerPoints and the whole 9 yards. I can do that in my sleep, but I prefer to do more back and forth. And since we will have, I don't know how many people will be with us tonight, I can't have an open forum, but if you use the chat, we can make this efficient and try for me to give you what you came for, at least give you guidelines, right? Guidelines. And I think it's really important in the marketplace today that you have some guidelines. As I get into the first part of my framework tonight, I want to just give you my essence of where we are in the market and why we're going into a marketplace that probably most of you have not experienced unless you're my age or older. And I'll give you some reference to that. Quick disclosure and disclaimer. I'm not a licensed professional. Well, I am still a licensed dentist, but I'm not licensed to give you tax, legal, accounting advice, investment advice. Everything I give you tonight is going to be from my experiences, and not only my own experience of navigating my own investment world for now over 4 decades, but also helping guide, keyword here, guide hundreds of other professional practice, high income, high net worth investors who also wanted to get some additional diversification outside of the conventional Wall Street model. We'll talk a little bit about that. I think you know what we're talking about tonight. That's actually really the essence of my talk, how to opt out of Wall Street. Doesn't mean you have to opt out completely, but many of you are here because you want to say, well, what else could I do? And how would I do it, right? How would I do it safely and not get beat up? How can I do it without, becoming a landlord or being a house flipper or things that you've heard other people do? Or maybe you've tried it and you realize it's another business and you're not ready for a second business. One question I'm just going to start off with before I jump into my short PowerPoint, which I'm going to run through quickly tonight, is a lot of people have a hard time determining whether or not their financial advisor, who really is a fiduciary, should be a fiduciary to you, is giving you, I'm not going to say good advice, bad advice. That's not appropriate for me to say, but maybe giving you sufficient or adequate advice. And the problem with anybody who sells their services, and look, we all do. I did in dentistry. You all do in whatever you do. We do sell our services. And that's okay. That's how the capitalistic markets work. We have attorneys in our lives that help us with various aspects of our legal needs, business and personal. We have accountants, CPAs that help us with that aspect of our lives. I mean, there's all kinds of people with whom we engage their services, and for that trade, for the value proposition, we pay the money, right? Well, same thing typically with your financial investments. You may have a financial advisor, a certified investment advisor. You may have a 401k money manager person or company, and they all do that to make a living, right? To create profits, and that's okay. What I think we all have to realize is that in the capitalist marketplace, there is always incentives. And the incentives should always be appropriate and ethical, because if someone's not doing a good service for somebody, well, they're going to get found out at some point, right? They're not going to have a good Google review. I mean, their reputation's out there. So I'm not negating or downgrading financial advisors, CPAs, people who give you that kind of advice. I'm not downgrading. Just understand that they all have an incentive, right? And the incentive is, even if they try to be as agnostic as they can, as unbiased as possible, the incentive is they want to keep your money. And I don't mean keep it, but they want to keep it under their umbrella or their advisory, because That's how they make money. Okay, again, nothing wrong with that. But my key point to the people I have the opportunity to work with very closely is, and the people I think who are attracted to my message, is that every one of you that are here tonight have absolutely the capacity to learn how to navigate your own financial future. You do not have to be dependent on outside people to do that for you. Now, I'm not saying don't use them, but I think you need to learn to be the quarterback. You've got to learn to be the navigator in front, and then utilize the outside services where they bring their expertise in. But when you abdicate completely because Wall Street says, just give us your money, doctor, dentist, professional practice owner, and we'll take care of it for you because your time is best suited in your business or practice. And to some extent, that's true because that is your best time value. But what I realized in my own life, and with, again, hundreds of other doctors and dentists, the inflection point that you're missing, many of you are missing, is how do you take your hard work, your effort, the capital, the equity, wherever you put it, whatever your investments are, including in your business or practice when you decide to harvest that equity, which for some of you may be down the road, some of you may be right now soon, some of you may have just crossed that finish line and you're sitting there going, okay, what do I do now? So getting your equity investments wherever they are and getting that money, that capital to work as hard for you as you work for it is the key really to your ultimate freedom. See, as long as you are working in your own business practice, that equity in your business, you're managing that with your hands on, which is what we're trained to do. That's your best investment. But at some point, you want to start taking your foot off the pedal, right? Maybe a little bit at a time or completely. And the problem is when you don't know how to take that equity or your other investments or your 401k or whatever you've been putting your money in, and you don't know how to create replacement income, because folks, it's all about replacement income. I don't care what your net worth is and how much accumulation you're getting. That's fine. But how do you know